Hello, I'm Pierre Campbell, and thank you for visiting pierrecamp.com and watching the Leadership Network. Today, we're going to have an opportunity to speak with a communication expert, Dr. Laura Hills. Now, let me tell you something right up front. In this conversation, you're going to be hearing me say Laura, and she's already given me permission to call her Laura. And the only reason why I'm saying that up front is because anyone that goes the extra mile to obtain and earn a terminal degree, a doctoral degree, I give them that respect. I think they deserve that respect. So you're going to hear me say Laura here. And Laura is also the president and founder of the Blue Pencil Institute. So we're going to talk about the Blue Pencil Institute as well. But I want Laura to tell you about her story a little bit first so you can get to know who Laura is. So Laura, tell folks.
Well, I've been waiting for Blue Pencil Institute for about 30 years. You see, I started my career as a writer and as a speaker and as a consultant, and everything was going magnificently. And then I had a very difficult decision here. I had to decide whether to start my family, and I decided to do it. And I knew in my heart that if I were to start a family and bring children into the world, that I needed to be the primary caretaker of those children. So I walked away from the limousines picking me up at the airport, the fruit baskets waiting in my hotel room, the applause of adoring fans, the book signing events, and I stayed home and I raised my children. And through those years, I did a lot of things to make money as I could around the children's schedules. I wrote articles, I wrote resumes, I wrote a newsletter for a year for hospital medical directors. Many of the things I was working on were not personally fulfilling to me, but they worked with my family. And then I raised my children, and along the way decided to begin that 11-year odyssey that took me from bachelor's to doctoral degree. I chipped away at that degree, at those degrees, master's and doctorate, one class at a time. That's all I could do on top of raising my family and working on the projects I was doing. Now, as I finished the doctoral degree in 2010, coincidental with that, I became an empty nester. My husband and I sent our last child to college. So imagine this, for the first time in all these years, I have no homework, I have no children to take care of, and I had the ability to have complete thoughts again. So rather than returning to the things I was doing before, I finally, at this life point, north of 50, have the chance to do what I've always wanted to do. And that is to start an institute. It's a learning entity because I am an educator. And our mission is to help career professionals feel more fulfilled, more rewarded, and more enthusiastic about the work they do. And I'm finally there. So Blue Pencil Institute was a name in my head for 30 years.
Excellent.
And now it's
here.
It's here. It's here.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
Laura, what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, we've talked about legacy because Pierre knows my doctoral dissertation was about women leaders and their legacies.
Yes.
And I learned through that experience that what's happening to me at the age of 55 is right on target for what I should be feeling. I'm at a life point, as many middle-aged people are, where we begin to think about what it is we want to achieve before we come to the end of our careers and our lives. The Blue Pencil Institute is a huge piece of that. What happened was I was working on my doctoral dissertation one day, and my youngest daughter, Victoria, came into my home office where I was sitting there working, and she said, sort of off the cuff, "Mom, do you think I could do the kind of work that you've done in your career? Could I be a writer, a speaker,
Right.
a consultant?" I said, "Victoria, absolutely," because she has my skills in communication and relationship building, and she's got determination and drive. I knew it. And she went off, and I sat there thinking about the subjects of my study, amazing women leaders who were talking about their legacies. I thought about what Victoria said, and I said, this is it. My legacy will be Blue Pencil Institute. It is an institute that will live on beyond me. You see, that is the critical difference between this point in my career and everything that comes now. Earlier, I was Laura for hire. You could hire me for a conference, you could hire me to consult, you could hire me to write an article or a book. But now I'm building something with an eye toward it living without Laura, that Victoria or my other daughters could be involved in, or that could be purchased by someone else but continued after I'm done with it. And that has opened Pandora's box.
Yes.
Because when you're building something like that, it's a very different thing than just selling yourself.
That's true.
And that is what led me worry about things like a name, Blue Pencil Institute, a brand, a message, protocols, how we do things, and being able to articulate that. So I'm learning a ton to do it, but it definitely fits in with my concept of what I want to leave after I'm done.
You know, that's so important, because what we have to understand as leaders is we have to think about our legacy. And that's the reason why I asked you that question, because right now we're here, we're living, and things are going well, but we want to leave something behind for other leaders to watch, for other leaders to grow from. And that's what the Blue Pencil Institute is for you. And I appreciate you sharing that. Let's talk about some of your books. You've published a couple books and some articles as well. What maybe book or article really touched you from an emotional standpoint? And the reason why I'm asking that question is, as authors, as writers, you write one book and then you write another, but there may have been one book that really touched you from an emotional standpoint where you're like, oh my goodness, you were pouring it out. Mm-hmm. Which book?
It would have to have been the last one I published, which was the springboard for what I'm doing now. You see, my career followed a progression. When I began, my first book was about marketing, and my particular audiences was private practice professionals.
Yes.
It was a hot topic in the 80s. I was the right person at the right time with the right product, and I was speaking and writing and consulting about marketing, helping physicians, dentists, optometrists, chiropractors, and others market their practices.
Yes.
I began consulting and could see when I got in there that, okay, you can put people in a practice because they saw an ad, they liked a billboard, they liked a Yellow Pages ad, but you could not keep them there once they came. Marketing can bring them there, it cannot keep them there.
Yes.
My second book was about management, because when I went into practices, I saw that if there weren't good management systems in place, it was a turnoff to the people we were bringing. But the third book was when I really came to my own. The third book is about the people who work in the practice. Because what I found after years of consulting is you can have great systems for management, great marketing tools, but if you have the wrong person at the front desk, it's over.
That's right.
This was what led me to where I am now, because I went from systems and marketing to people.
Yes.
And from the staff, I now have jumped overboard into personal and professional development for individuals, because I can see throughout my career, this is where I've been heading.
Right.
You have to start with the person.
Yes.
You can slap a nice brochure on someone, give them a slick logo, give them a great system for doing appointments and bookkeeping. But if you don't develop the whole person, you're just putting Band-Aids on them. You're not getting at the core of what's going to make them successful. So I'd say the last book, because it was people-focused and not system-focused, was the turning point in my career. That was in the early 90s, and the work I've done ever since has been about the people.
Yeah. You know, it is important, especially for managers, for you managers and leaders out there, to understand it's about people and processes. So if you're interested in learning more about the books that Dr. Laura Hills has published, you can check out the Blue Pencil Institute, bluepencilinstitute.com. That's important, to focus on people. A lot of leaders, a lot of managers out there are focusing on the bottom line, which I'm not saying that the bottom line is not important, but you have to be able to convey the message to your people so that they understand the value that they're bringing to the customer, so that they understand the bottom line, where they contribute to the bottom line. And I think that's what some of your books are about. So I thank you for writing those books. Anytime I have an opportunity to speak with an author, I try to draw as much as I can out of them, because they're giving us their lives. They're giving us their thoughts through these books.
Hello, I'm Pierre Campbell, and thank you for joining Pierre Camp, where you'll receive consistent leadership and personal development coaching. Our goal is to help you to become the best leader you can be by discovering your self-worth through positive reinforcement. If you're interested in learning how to do more with less and maximizing your God-given talent, check out pierrecamp.com right now for personal testimonials and other videos that'll help you to become a better leader. We also have the Leadership Network, where leaders come to share their stories and best practices with you. If you're interested in any of our services, go to pierrecamp.com right now and contact us. As always, be thankful and encouraged. God bless you. And remember, you are a leader.
So, Laura, it's important for people to feel confident. And when you're building relationships, that's what it's all about. Tell folks how we met. It's so interesting how we met, and it's going to encourage you to use all of the networks that you have out there. So tell folks how we met, Laura.
Well, I have become very interested in Twitter. Actually, it's my passion. In the last year, I have been tweeting about personal and professional development and gathering a following. And every now and then, among these followers, someone stands out. So Pierre Campbell followed me on Twitter, and we started to have a conversation and discovered that we lived in the same geographic area and shared so many interests that we took a chance and we met face to face and alive instead of through the social media virtual world. And what I learned from that is that each person I interact with is flesh and blood. I know that sounds crazy, but you don't think of it that way always. So look at the power of that medium. It brought us together so that we could have this conversation. We've had other conversations. Yes. We will have more conversations
to come.
And this helps me, and it helps you, it helps your viewers.
Absolutely.
All out of social media. So it's the most exciting thing that's happened, actually, for me out of Twitter was discovering somebody right in my own backyard.
Right. Yeah. So it's just important for you to understand the power of social media.
Absolutely.
We use social media as thought leaders and for businesses to promote our products and things of that nature. Facebook, Twitter, and all of the other things out there, the networks out there like LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. But you know, Twitter, I think it's so amazing because you kind of get an opportunity to really have a conversation. And that's where I think our connection lied. As we had a conversation, then we moved it over to LinkedIn.
That's right.
And then the next thing she invited me to a meeting. And by the way, congratulations on being appointed as the president of the Rotary Club in Fairfax, Virginia.
Yes, this July, when I'm president-elect now, I will be the second woman president in the 81 years this club has been in existence, the Rotary Club of Fairfax, because to me, service and leadership through service is one of my core values.
Yes, that was huge. You know, I looked at all of the things that Laura has done in her past and her experiences, and this whole Blue Pencil Institute, and I said, I gotta have her. I have to have her convey her message, her legacy to you. Mm-hmm. And so the last thing I wanted to ask you is, why do you think people should watch educational shows like this? Why do you think people should watch the Leadership Network?
I think that self-development is where it is. That's what I devote my life to helping other people do. And I know as a person who holds a doctoral degree in education that people learn in many different ways. Some people learn well through reading.
Yes.
Some people learn well in an auditory way. Some people are hands-on learners and some are visual. What you have here in this program is an opportunity to meld sound and sight and to make the learning more personal and intimate, because this is not just a lesson, this is human beings sharing what's in their core. So I think that as you develop yourself professionally, you can use this tool to help you learn visually and in an auditory fashion and connect with Pierre. He's the common denominator, someone so knowledgeable in and of his own right, bringing people like me and his other great guests to you in each program so that you have an entertaining way to learn as well. There's a phrase being used in educational circles that describes exactly what you're doing here, Pierre. I don't know if you've heard it. It's edutainment.
Yes.
It's a combination of education and entertainment fused into one. And that is exactly the exciting work that Pierre Campbell is doing with this television program.
Yeah.
So I think it's a wonderful resource. And look at it. It comes to you when you want it, where you want it. It's short, and it gets so much covered in such a short and entertaining way.
Yeah.
So I think it's a wonderful thing that he's doing. We're very fortunate to have this as a learning resource.
Absolutely. Because that's what this is all about. And I appreciate you sharing that with the leaders out there.
My pleasure.
Because, like I said, I deem you as the communication expert. Laura is the communication expert. Now, I want folks to find you. I want folks to know where you are, how they can get in contact with you. Of course, you can find her on Twitter, so go ahead and let people know.
Okay. Yes, you have to see me on Twitter. Well, first of all, you've mentioned my website. Thank you. But it's an easy enough thing to find me. We are the only Blue Pencil Institute in the universe.
Yes.
So you can go to bluepencilinstitute.com. If you'd like to find me on Twitter, and I hope you will, I tweet every day offering personal and professional development tweets for career professionals. If you're not familiar with Twitter, they're short little bites, 140 characters or less. And my Twitter handle is the @ Dr. Laura Hills. No period, no spaces. So DrLauraHills. And I'll follow you back.
Yes.
I do that too.
Yes.
And I also have created some wonderful lists within my Twitter that you can look at if you want to learn about other areas such as entrepreneurship, team building, relationship building. I have put together lists of people who tweet on these subjects, and that's another resource for you. So those would be great. I'd also love to mention, if I may, Pierre,
Absolutely.
that I have a book coming out, the first of our Blue Pencil Institute product line, and this one is called Climbing Out of a Rut.
Climbing Out of a Rut.
For people who feel stuck. It's 4 steps and 101 secrets for supercharging your career and finding greater fulfillment and reward in your work. It's the first of what I hope will be a long product line for Blue Pencil Institute. So check our website for updates on that project and all the others that we have scheduled. Thank you.
Laura, thank you so much. This has been a great opportunity to have a conversation with the professional communicator because it gives people an opportunity to learn from our conversation. You know, as always, you know, you can follow me on Twitter @ Pierre Camp. And I want to give a special thank you to all you leaders out there that are sharing the Leadership Network with all of your friends and the people in your network. I appreciate the love. We appreciate the love. Be encouraged. Be grateful. You can follow me on Twitter @ Pierre Camp, like I said. Check out pierrecamp.com. And remember, you are a leader.